The event will begin shortly, just waiting for our guests to join in. Thank you for your patience. Hello, everyone. My name is Dalia Wilson, and welcome to KiwiTech's Black Entrepreneurs Matter Demo Day. For those who don't know, we started this Demo Day series in 2020 as a part of our commitment to encourage and empower underrepresented African American founders and help them close the funding gap. Today, we bring you a fantastic fireside chat that revolves around the current state of Black entrepreneurship and VC, followed by 6 premium startup presentations. I'm joined by my colleague Noshin Zainab, and two of us will serve as the moderator for today's event. And with that, I would like to invite Ike Sayed, Senior Vice President, Strategic Partnerships at KiwiTech, to give a quick overview of the company. Over to you, Ike.
Hi, Natalia, can you see me and hear me?
Yes, Ike.
All right, let me share my screen. And you can see my screen, right?
Yep, all good.
All right, wonderful. Well, good afternoon, good morning, folks, depending on which part of the world you are dialing in from. As Natalia mentioned, my name is Ike. I'm the SVP of Strategic Partnerships based in the Washington, D.C. area. For those of you who may not know about us, I'll just take a few minutes, explain our background, who we are, and how we work. At KiwiTech, we are a global community of innovators, investors, mentors, and enterprises. With over 562 companies in our portfolio, we are in every single vertical that you can think of: deep tech, fintech, biotech. We pretty much cover it all. With close to 3,000 investors in our network, some of whom are joining us today, we have invested more than $100 million of tech services as equity partnership, as well as helped our portfolio companies raise more than $100 million through events such as the one today. We host 100 networking events annually, mostly in a hybrid format. Before the pandemic, it was all in person. Since the pandemic, we have been doing this in a hybrid fashion. And we have close to 300 mentors in our network. So a little bit about our background. In 2012, the founders of KiwiTech scaled one of the largest digital media publishing companies, took it from 0 to 5,000 people, and sold it. The following year, KiwiTech Startup Program was launched. 2017, we hit 100 companies in our portfolio, launched the demo days, such as the one today. 2019, we expanded into the Middle East. And in the last 2 years, again, have grown to this ecosystem where we are. We have several acquisitions in the pipeline. We have launched our go-to-market as well as crowdfunding services. Please feel free to reach out if you want any more information on that. And the goal is really by next year to become an ecosystem of more than 1,000 companies and have 100 of them exit at $100 million valuation plus. So now, how does our model work? Essentially, up to half of our services we can provide in the form of equity investment. Let's just take an example that you have a software development project. It costs $500,000. You're an early stage company. We will come in and we will do that work. Half of it we will take, the fees we will take in the form of cash, and the other half we will take in the form of equity in the company. For early stage startups, a great way to get a term sheet in play, save capital upfront. As we all know, cash is king. And at the same time, participate in events such as this one to raise capital, get access to corporate connections, as well as other partnerships. The deal flow is quite extensive. As you can see, in the last 3 years, we contacted more than 122,000 companies. Out of that, about half of them we shortlisted for an initial discussion. Again, almost a quarter of that, we got on a call with the CEO and met the companies to end up with a final pick of about 300 or so companies. So as you can see in our entire history, more than half of the portfolio companies have come in the last 3 years. That shows as the model is now taking off. We are proud to claim that we are the largest tech for equity platform in the world, rather tech services for equity platform in the world. So with that, again, folks are beginning to realize how this model is and how it's very, very beneficial for them. The ecosystem stakeholders consist of portfolio companies, such as the ones that are pitching today, our esteemed investor network, who will be doing the fireside chat, as well as incubator, accelerators, and corporate connections. Our technology team is more than 500 strong. We have a finance and accounting arm, Graphite Financial, as well as digital marketing, as well as crowdfunding capabilities that we offer. We recently launched our Web3 Centers of Excellence, in addition to AI, machine learning, and looking at other emerging technologies. And really the idea is that through folks like myself, we build partnerships on the ground, at the same time utilizing our global capabilities to support our ecosystem. The investor events that we have are quite varied, ranging from asset classes such as family offices, as well as angel investors, to vertical-based events such as fintech, biotech, to serving historically underserved communities, again, such as the event today. Through female founders, our Black Entrepreneurs Matter, it reflects strongly on the ethos of our founders to, again, give back to communities that have historically been neglected, both by LPs and GPs, and again, really have a way to showcase them and highlight them in terms of their innovation and their platform. So with that, again, would love to welcome everyone once again to our Black Entrepreneurs Matter Q1 Q1 of 2023 event. Thank you to all the fireside chat participants coming from top-notch venture companies and with phenomenal backgrounds. I'm excited to hear more about what they have to say in terms of what's happening in the world of equity investing, minority entrepreneurs, the overall economic climate. Good luck to all the presenters. I know they're coming in from all around the country, to West Coast, from Miami, Philadelphia, again, various parts of the country. So again, good luck to all of them. I'm excited to see them and hear them pitch. With that, back to you, Natalia.
Thank you so much, Ike, for that overview. And now I'd like to give a warm welcome to our fireside chat speakers, Ike Evoter, Venture Analyst, Level Up Ventures, and Anita C. Roberts, Managing Director at Silicon Hills Capital. Over to you, speakers. Ike, Anita, are you there?
I'm here. I think you have to start the video.
Yeah, I'm able to start my video.
Team, can you please give the video rights? Perfect. All right.
Okay. Thank you so much, Natalia, and KiwiTech as well. It's a pleasure to be here. As mentioned, my name is Ike Evoter, junior investor at Level Up Ventures, where we seek to invest in underrepresented founders at the pre-seed and seed stage. And in terms of underrepresented founders, specifically investing in Black and Latino founders. And with that, I would love to dive into the chat, but before that, I would love for Anita to introduce herself as well.
Well, Ike must be a popular name. Looks like, unless you guys are twins. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate this. This is my first event this year, so I'm real excited about it. As of about 4 weeks ago, I had brain surgery, so I am extremely grateful to, like I said, be here, but also be able to share my story, as well as just share what women in general are doing today in VC and in the VC founder ecosystem. So I started out in the military. I was a military officer working in public relations and marketing, worked on Obama's staff, President Obama's staff, and retired, started my own company, started a media company shortly after I retired, and was able to sell that company a few years after that. After selling my company, all of a sudden I became, I guess, a success, what entrepreneurship, I guess, success is supposed to be. Being able to, which was not, which is not the way African Americans look at success. When we say we sold our company, it's almost a failure. But selling it was actually a great thing, because what it allowed me to do was start a nonprofit to help other African American businesses, especially in Texas. I'm in Austin, Texas, and so the numbers for Black businesses in Texas and pretty much nationwide are pretty dismal, with about 80% of businesses have a income of about $60,000 a year, and with only one employee. And so I really wanted to help to change that dynamic. And so starting my nonprofit, we were able to provide education and training to Black businesses throughout Texas. And kind of transition that, because after talking about Black businesses and how great some of these, these companies were, we were not able to get funding. And so, obviously what we have to do is, we saw a need. And so we started our own fund. Prior to that, we actually raised and gave out grants through our nonprofit. We gave out about $250,000 during COVID to Black businesses and women-owned businesses, helping them to, just to stay in business, helping them to grow, and then transition to venture and started to invest in those companies that we felt were, at a level that we're looking to scale. And out of the 4 companies we invested in 2021, one of them was able to exit last year. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Such a great and renowned background, and also the success that you're seeing in VC. But as an established entrepreneur, how did you kind of overcome certain challenges, or what challenges did you face while constructing and then even reaching, like being able to sell your business?
Well, coming from the military, I didn't really have a playbook, honestly. And so, struggling with the challenges of being a woman and actually being in Austin, Texas. In Austin, Texas, we have less than 8% African-American population here. And so, really, it was almost like, I had to research and really find those resources for myself. And so in building my company, honestly, what I did was I just went back on, what I was taught in the military. And so the work that I was doing for my company, I was doing exact same thing that I was doing in the military. So to me, it was what I loved to do, sharing stories, telling stories. And so it just, it was just a different model, right? It was just, I didn't have a budget where I could just write the checks, in the military, I could just write a check. But, when you're an entrepreneur, you got to find the check to write. So, you've got to find creative ways to build a business. And that's what we were able to do. And just, finding resources locally, statewide. And that's really how I built the business. We were able to, like I said, grow it. The business was nationwide. And so we were approached by a company in Florida who was looking to create something similar. And they didn't want to create something, they wanted to get mine. So we that was like a year-long process of really just having those conversations about, what does an acquisition look like? How do I benefit? Why would I want to sell my company? I started this company. I thought I was going to leave it to my boys, and my boys are like, what? We don't want your company. We love what we do. So, so I knew that my kids, I wasn't going to, leave it to my kids. So I knew I had to do something. And so it was an opportunity. The lawyer kept saying, okay, Anita, you sell this company, you just create another one. And honestly, that was just not even something that I'd ever heard anybody do. I didn't know anybody who sold their company and did something, something else. And so, it was very difficult, honestly, because I, like I said, just didn't have any role models to talk to, or anybody that I could look to say, okay, this is what they did. Let me do what they did.
I'm glad that you mentioned in terms of not having as many role models or people that you could look to while you were constructing and overcoming some of these challenges while building out your business. That leads me into my next question. I'm just asking about, as we see kind of the numbers for the amount of VC funding that goes towards Black entrepreneurs, we see that in the year of 2022, only about 1% of VC funding went to Black entrepreneurs, which is actually down about 0.3%. I think in 2021 it was 1.3%. So we see an even lesser amount of money moving towards these Black communities, and facing these kind of disparate wealth gaps. How do you see it affecting Black entrepreneurs as they look to build?
Well, you know, what I would say is that always remember you're an entrepreneur. And, you know, yes, we're Black entrepreneurs, but always remember you're an entrepreneur at heart. And so if you have a product that, that everybody is, wanting to, want a piece of, just stay confident in what you're doing and just, stay the course. You and I talked a little bit yesterday. And one of the things that, that I always, even though I'm a media person, it's like you can't read the headlines all the time, right? Stop reading the headlines, because if you hear, the venture dollars are declining, and that's true. Of course, money's, it's just like ask your parents for money. They're going to always say, I don't have any money, right? But, just like I told you, here in Austin, in Austin alone, last year, we had $5 billion that went to founders just in Austin, Texas, in our very small community. And Dallas had over 7 billion. Houston had, I think, another 3 billion. So the money is there. We just have to remember that, stay true to exactly what we're doing. In the military, we say, it's about mission first, right? Stay the course, just continue the mission that, what you're doing. And if you've already created your plan, just work the plan and just keep moving forward. But the money is out there. Just another story, because, I'm a storyteller. So last year in Q2, just to give you an idea about the kind of money that's out there, in Q2 of last year, all of African-American founders, we raised about $324 million altogether, $324 million. Well, one white guy got $350 million from one venture firm. So let's not talk about money, because, yes, we know money is always, it's going to be up and down, but there's money out there. And the crazy part is, again, that I shared, the founder who got this $350 million investment, he lost billions of dollars during the 2020, kind of debacle. He's the founder of WeWork, but he got $350 million. So, so I tell Black founders, you're still a founder. You still have if you have a great product, stay the course. Money's there.
Thank you for that. And as a woman of color, we also see that there's even lesser amount of resources and funding going towards women-led entrepreneurs and them building out their businesses. Is there any advice or any pointers that you can give to women of color that are looking to build out in this space as well as they embark on their entrepreneur journeys?
Yeah, the numbers, that's one of the reasons why I got in the business. I mean, honestly, I got tired of asking people for funding for Black entrepreneurs. And so, I became a check writer. And so, what I would say is that, Black women specifically, since we received the least amount of funding, out of kind of all of those folks, just again, stay the course. I mean, I think within the last 5 years, we've had over 50 African-American women raise over $1 million, which is still really small. Black men, you guys are having a little bit better luck. There's lots of money kind of coming to you, but I would say the first thing, is when you're talking about being a woman in business, is dispel the myth of being a magical creature, the Black girl magic thing. Yeah, we get it, but I can't automatically just, make money come up. I'm not a magical creature. And so I have to do the same things that you have to do in order to get to, to find funding, creating the product, validating the product, and I would definitely say, try to find, incubators and accelerators, places where you can get free advice and guidance to help you, navigate this system. But there are things out there, that can help you. But again, I would just say, stop, creating this myth of being magical creatures because we're not. We have to let people know that we're serious about this business of scaling our companies and growing our companies, because we know that it builds wealth in our communities when we do that.
I'm glad that you mentioned in terms of just busting the myth, as we see some of the numbers come back, comparing teams of, like all male teams compared to women-led teams. We see that women-led teams actually provide higher returns as high as 35%. So how do you see that diversity and adding a woman leader towards a company affect construction of a business?
One of the things when I talk to diverse founders, there's a few things that advice that I give, so when we're building companies and when we're going to talk to VCs, which most times do not look like us, we've got to remember, number one, we solve different problems, right? We have different problems in our communities. And so sometimes when we walk through those doors and we're talking to these people, they don't understand that there are no banks or there are no grocery stores, there are no, things like that in our communities. And so when we're talking about these problems, our solutions are going to look different to them, right? And so we have to, when that happens and they're looking at you, like when you say, I know there was a Black woman who created a financial, a fintech app. And one of the things that she said when she walked in the room, and they were saying, well, what do you mean that, people don't have bank accounts? Because they could not conceive that any person could not have a bank account. But these are different problems in our communities. And so we have different problems, therefore we're going to have different solutions. And so, again, when that, your mom and your daddy, my grandmother she never went to the bank, never went to the bank. Right. So again, there are different problems and different solutions. Second, our surroundings are different. Therefore our resources are going to be different. And so, what model, Joe uses may not be what, my girl Kendra uses, right? So our resources are going to be different, and we have to recognize that and not look at it as a bad thing. To me, I don't look at it as a bad thing. I look at it as, whatever the problem, there's a great solution for it, right? Different cultures, Black culture is very different from other cultures. And so we're going to speak different. We're going to talk different. We go into a room and talking to VCs and people who don't look like us, sometimes when we say something, they may not understand what you're talking about. And so you got to not get offended by that, but you have to, try to help them to understand, excuse me, try to help them understand, who you are and what you are and what you're trying to bring. And then last, we all know there's always going to be a threat of unconscious bias in the room, by the things that are said, the looks that we get. Sometimes just walking in the room, they're going to look at you like, oh my gosh, but again, as a diverse founder, when you walk into those rooms, you have to know all of these things have already taken place, right, in those people's minds. And so you have to, stay focused and stay in control of yourself. And also, just don't be afraid of the no, because, at the end of the day, in 2021, when we made our first investments, we saw about 200 companies. We only invested in 4. So if you're a founder out there, you're going to hear no. And if you get, if a no scares you and okay, my life is over and I'm never going to, go to another VC or, whatever, after you get a no, then you're in the wrong business in the first place, because you're going to hear no. But guess what? Other people are investing. And, that's what we're saying. Money's there. The ideas are great. Just continue to press on.
Great. And as a pivotal member of the Austin community, you mentioned living in Austin, Texas, and being a underrepresented investor and then also a founder as well from that community. How do you see entrepreneurs pouring back into the community to spur on growth within the startup ecosystem?
Oh, absolutely. Well, again, just talking about, some of the things that I just shared about, in our community, we're going to see different problems and different solutions. I mean, that's what we had to do. What I do here in Austin, I wasn't born and raised here. This was my last duty station, and decided to stay. And when I first moved here, 10, 15 years ago, there was about 11% African-American population. And then the numbers started to dwindle. And so I didn't run away from that. What I did was I embraced it. And so being a media person, what I wanted to do was I wanted to shine a light on the people who were here, who were doing a kick-ass job on the stuff that, in building out Austin and building out Texas. And so, so we focused on the people that were here and really working to make sure that these guys had resources and, a thriving community. Right now in Austin, we have a community of over 20,000 African-Americans and people who've lived here all their lives. They'll come into our group and they'll say, I didn't even know there was that many Black people in Austin. So it's an incredible, opportunity. And again, the way I look at it in being in Austin and being in a community where 7% of us, are African-American is, that means that you can be a big fish in a small pond, right? You go to Atlanta or San Francisco and you try to make a splash, it's not going to be a big splash, but you come to Austin and you have an opportunity to be seen, to be heard, to get funding. And, just so happen, one of our portfolio companies, Janice Omedeki, she came from California. Probably it was less than 10 years ago. She decided to move from California, come to Austin to build her company, The Mentor Method. And, I met her on a stage when she was pitching her company at an event, and I saw her and loved her story, loved the idea, and was really, told her when she started to raise to let me know. And it just so happened, everything worked out. And she was one of our, she was our second company we invested in, and her company actually exited last year. So, so it works, man. It works. You just gotta, stop making excuses and start looking at it from the bright side, because there's so many bright sides to it.
Absolutely amazing feedback. And before we part, just a question from, personally myself as a young investor and, interacting with a lot of the next generation of entrepreneurs and also networking with a lot of the next generation of investors. Are there any words of advice that you can give to us that are looking to level the playing field for all of those who may not have had a chance in the past?
Well, I get this question a lot. And what I'll tell you is that in order for us to have, more of those Black companies that are exiting, that are IPOing, and that are becoming unicorns, we have to have more Black check writers. So we need more Ikes in the world. We need more Anitas. We need more of, folks who are out there who will get into the VC game and recognize that, yes, just like any other thing, you're going to have to work hard and build. But to me, the only way we're going to change this is if we have more Black check writers. And so people that look like us writing the checks, that's the only way we're going to change this, because, there's no way, with the numbers. I mean, what is it about? I think 8% are diverse VCs. And I think women, it's less, or Black women is less than 1% in VC. And so we have to continue that. And that, but I truly believe, if you're, just even if you're a founder, I mean, start angel investing, invest in some other companies, and you can do that writing a $500, $1,000 check. I mean, you have to. The only way we're going to change this is if we do it, right? And stop looking for someone else to save us, right? We have to save ourselves, and we can do it. We can build a better community. We can build a better, just world if we work within the parameters that we have.
Thank you for that. And I thoroughly agree. As we continue to look to make change and push for change, especially for the underrepresented community, to any entrepreneurs, especially Black entrepreneurs or Black VCs that are out there. Just know that there are platforms that you can go to receive resources, that you can go to receive the knowledge to continue to pour into others, and then also further your knowledge. But with that, thank you so much, Anita, and I will now turn it over to Nalshin.
Hi, thank you so much, Ike and Anita, for a really insightful session. And I would invite you to stay back and share your one-on-one feedback after each starter